One thing I'm noticing is that this individual, fake royal, he doesn't really travel outside the states alone these days. He always has his wife, Nutmeg, with him, and this is becoming more of a common practice for them, especially for him to really ask his wife to accompany him when he is traveling to, for example, places like Portugal, Lisbon in Europe, or whenever he goes to UK. He is not, in other words, seen alone, especially when he comes back to the States. Why is that? Well, we have some updates here that will shock you. This is the piece I want to share with you guys. The US State Department has withheld 18 documents relating to Sperry and will continue reviewing hundreds more in a Freedom of Information Act case related to his visa and past drug use, court documents show. Okay, so this is coming from US State Department. They have withheld 18 documents, and now they are saying that this whole thing is under investigation. The right-wing think tank Heritage Foundation initially sued the Department of Homeland Security seeking the release of Harry's visa records and arguing the American public had a right to know whether he was candid about his use of narcotics. And we can say for sure they are never candid. They are never, because with their crime they cannot be candid. They want to hide it. They want to hide it, but these plots of hiding things is just getting worse for them, and it is not working. Now, US authorities, according to one source, stopped Harry for a brief moment, returning visit from UK when he was UK last time. As we have heard, he visited the family. They had this reunion for 47 minutes. When he was coming back to the States, he was stopped. Investigation on visa status underway. Heritage lost the case against Judge Carl Nichols, ruled that Harry's privacy interests outweigh any public interest in disclosure. Lawyers for Heritage filed a new case in 25 against the State Department, requesting all its other documents about Harry apart from the visa papers themselves. So he is in big trouble. I can tell you that for sure. Why it matters. During the initial case, Heritage Foundation argued that Harry's past drug use should have been made ineligible for entry to the country if it was disclosed. If it was not disclosed, the think tank argued that raised a separate question about whether he had been truthful on immigration forms. The think tank suggested earlier scenario could put his visa status in doubt, though immigration experts told Newsweek this would be highly unusual without a criminal conviction. Harry's largest FOIA request is unlikely to reveal any of Sperry's private immigration information, as that would be considered ineligible for release. However, there is a possibility some documents could be made publicly showing how the prince was discussed in government. We are getting really impatient with all of this. We need to see results. We do not want to talk about this anymore because we have had this discussion for a very long time. It is now that the US authorities, they take step to remove him from the country based on his usage of those banned substance. The State Department withholds 18 government documents. Government officials have spent months processing material turned up in searches of State Department computer systems, and at the end of July took a decision in relation to an initial batch of 18 documents. In total, they are working through 307 documents comprising over 2,400 pages in total. However, anyone hoping for a first chance to see government records about the royal may be disappointed to discover that they chose to withhold the files in their entirety. There is now a discussion, guys, if you do not know. I think it was channel 24, they have actually a discussion on their YouTube channel showing they're saying that the reason these 18 documents were withheld by the State Department is because they are looking into all of the papers and they're doing some investigation into his case. So that was a discussion that I will, if I have time today, I will share with you, but you can go to the channel and you can see for yourself. A joint status report filed at the district court in DC and seen by Newsweek read, this case, quote, stems from a Freedom of Information Act request that plaintiffs submitted to the Department for records regarding Henry Charles Albert David, also known as the Duke of Sussex or Prince Sperry. The State Department made its first interim production in this case on July 30th, 26, in which it identified 18 responsive records, all withheld in their entirety. So July 30th, so this is just last month, happened this year. The Immigration and Nationality Act and FOIA exemptions were cited as justifications. So Freedom of Information Act, okay, FOIA, if you do not know. That leaves 289 responsive documents still under review, and it remains possible some may be disclosed publicly. The filing suggested the parties will file their next joint status report on October 13, 26. Harris' original visa lawsuit, Harris argued Harry Sperry must have been asked about past drug use on his visa forms and would therefore have had to either reveal his experiences of taking cannabis, cocaine, magic mushrooms, and ayahuasca or lie about it. They suggested either path should have made him ineligible without special treatment. Okay. Immigration experts told Newsweek during the case that it is possible to obtain a waiver. Heritage suggested the American public had a right to know whether Sperry had been given favorable treatment due to his status as a royal family member. However, Judge Carl Nichols sided with the U.S. government. A memorandum seen by Newsweek summarized his reasons and read, quote, the government argues that the Duke has a privacy interest and that outweighs any public interest in those records and has therefore withheld them, and with respect to one category has declined to confirm whether they exist at all. Quote, the court agrees that the Duke's privacy interest outweighs any public interest and therefore grants defendants motion for summary judgment. This is coming from Nichols concluded. The judge noted that the Duke had never publicly disclosed a series of facts that were themselves redacted from the memorandum. Quote, that is the type of information that a person would ordinarily not wish to make known about himself, and therefore the government has demonstrated that the Duke retains a privacy interest in these records. The memorandum said privacy interest. Oh, okay. So when it is about other people, there is no privacy. But because he is the Duke of Dufusses, he does have some privacy interest? No, he should not. He should not be entitled to anything. See, this is the same reason why he is so out of line. He is still a man-child. Because of this special treatment, from day one of his life, he is getting them. He should not be getting them in the States. He should be treated just like anybody would be. Especially when it comes to safety and security of the American people, he should be checked. Who knows what he's doing in the States? Do we go to Montashicha house and see what he's doing? We don't know. We should know everything about his life. What he's doing there. Is he sniffing? Is he selling? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me more. But this must be investigated, that's for sure. I'll not play that video from Sky News, but I think channel 24, I forgot the channel name, but you can look it up yourself.